Welcome back to my channel, my lovely viewers. Today we are asked to simplify this without the use of a calculator. Yeah, you are not going to use your calculator. Okay, first, 500 is same thing as 2. 500 is equal to 250 plus 250, right? Yeah. All right, that is where we are going to start from. So we have 500 raised to the power of 250 plus 250. We are going to solve this using three methods. Divided by 250 raised to the power of 250. Okay. Now recall that a to the power of m plus n is equal to a to the power of m multiplied by a to the power of n. Therefore, we solve this to be 500 to the power of 250 multiplied by 500 to the power of 250 divided by 250 to the power of 250. And this is equal to 500 to the power of 250 multiplied by 500 to the power of 250 divided by 250 to the power of 250. Now, the third method that we use to solve this is very interesting. So, I wouldn't like you to miss it for anything. Okay? Recall that a to the power of m divided by b to the power of m is equal to a divided by b raised to the power of m. Therefore, we can write this to be equal to 500 to the power of 250 multiplied by 500 divided by 250, everything to the power of 250. This is equal to 500 to the power of 250 multiplied by, this we divide this to give us 2 to the power of 250. Recall that a to the power of m multiplied by a to the power of n multiplied by b to the power of n, this is equal to a multiplied by b, both raised to the power of m. Therefore, this is equal to 500 to the power multiplied by 2 raised to the power of 250. So this is equal to, remember that 500 multiplied by 2 is 1000 raised to the power of 250. Now 1000 is something as 10 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of 250. So this is equal to 10 to the power of 3 raised to the power of 250. Now remember that a to the power of m raised to the power of n is equal to a to the power of m times n. That means that this is 10 to the power of 3 multiplied by 250, and this is 10 to the power of 750. And that is the answer. Now, let us solve this using the second method. If this is the first time you are seeing this amazing channel, please click the subscription button, turn on the notification bell. Yes, please, so that you don't miss our next videos. We want you to be notified immediately we upload new videos. Give us a thumbs up and like, comment and share. Yes, if you actually love us, then like, comment and share so that the algorithm will push our videos to the right audience, the students that we are actually making these videos for. Okay, so that it will get to them. Thank you very much. So the second method, I'm going to use three methods, and the last one is the most interesting. So the question says 500 to the power of 500 divided by 250 to the power of 250. We are asked to simplify. Now this is equal to 500 to the power of 500 is the same thing as 2 multiplied by 250. Okay, so we are going to write this as 2 multiplied by 250 raised to the power of 500 divided by 250 raised to the power of 250. So remember that AB to the power of m is equal to A to the power of m multiplied by B to the power of m. So we can solve this as 2 to the power of 500 multiplied by 250 to the power of 500. Everything divided by 250 to the power of 250. Now this is equal to 2 to the power of 500 multiplied by 250 to the power of 500 divided by 250 to the power of 250. Remember that A to the power of m divided by B to the power of n is equal to, divided by A to the power of n is equal to A to the power of m minus n. Therefore, we can solve this as 2 to the power of 500 multiplied by 250 to the power of 500 minus 250. So we have 2 to the power of 500 multiplied by 250 to the power of 250. So remember that 500 can be expressed as 2 to the power of 2 times 250. So we have 2 to the power of 2 multiplied by 250 multiplied by 250 to the power of 250. Now remember that A to the power of m times n is equal to A to the power of m raised to the power of n. So we can solve this as 2 to the power of 2 raised to the power of 250 multiplied by 250 raised to the power of 250. So this is equal to 4 to the power of 250 multiplied by 250 to the power of 250. Now remember that A to the power of m multiplied by B to the power of m is equal to AB raised to the power of m. So this is equal to 4 multiplied by 250 raised to the power of 250. So this is equal to 1000 raised to the power of 250. And this is equal to 10 to the power of 3 raised to the power of 250. Now remember that A to the power of m raised to the power of n is equal to A to the power of m times n. That means that this is equal to 10 to the power of 3 multiplied by 250, which is equal to 10 to the power of 750, which is exactly what we got using the first method. Now, the last but not the least, the most interesting of them all, the third method. Okay. Have you hit that like button? Because for you to watch to this stage means that you actually love what you are seeing. So don't forget to hit the like button and also share, comment. Thank you so much. Now, at this, the question says 500 to the power of 500 divided by 250 to the power of 250. Now remember, 500 can be expressed as 5 times 100 and 250 is 25 times 10. Okay, so that means we can write this as 5 multiplied by 100 raised to the power of 500 divided by 250 is 25 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of 250. So this is equal to, remember that A multiplied by B raised to the power of n is equal to A to the power of n multiplied by B to the power of n. Therefore, we can write this as 5 to the power of 500 multiplied by 100 to the power of 500 divided by 25 to the power of 250 multiplied by 10 to the power of 250. Now this is equal to, we can express this as 5 to the power of 500 then multiplied by 100 to the power of 500 divided by 25. Okay, sorry. Now this 25 is same thing as 5 to the power of 2, right? Raised to the power of 250 multiplied by 10 raised to the power of 250. So we have that this is equal to 5 to the power of 500 multiplied by 100 is same thing as 10 squared. Okay, raised to the power of 500 divided by 5 to the power of 2 times 250 is 500 multiplied by 10 to the power of 250. So this will remove this. We have this to be equal to 10 to the power of 2 times this is 1000 divided by 10 to the power of 250. So since they share the same base, it's 10 to the power of 1000 minus 250, which is 10 to the power of 750. Thank you so much for watching. See you in my next video. Bye.